So a quadrantal angle kind of sounds funny, but a quadrantal angle is just an angle that's on one of the axes. So if we think about the initial side of an angle always being on this positive x-axis, then the terminal side is going to be on the 90 degrees, or it would be open to 180, or it would go down to 270, etc. So quadrantal angle is always going to be a multiple of 90 degrees. So you're going to see that it's going to be at 90 degrees, it's going to be at 180 degrees, 270 degrees, or 360 degrees. Thinking about our radian measures, you're going to have pi over 2, you're going to have pi, 3 pi over 2 for 270, or 2 pi for the 360, the full time around the circle. So a quadrantal angle is an angle in standard position, which we talked about earlier, with terminal side on an axis. So that's why you can see the terminal side is going to be on that x-axis if it's 90 degrees or 270 degrees, or on the y-axis if it's 180 or 360 degrees. It's always going to be a multiple of 90 degrees, because you can see that our axes are at right angles. They are 90 degrees, so every time you move to another one, you're just going up by 90 degrees. Or pi over 2 if we're thinking about radians. It's going to be one of 4 specific ordered pairs. So we're going to be talking about the unit circle. The unit circle is just a circle that has a radius of 1. So if I sketch that circle right there, and I have these ordered pairs, and we think that their radius is 1, well, then we know that this ordered pair over here would be 1, 0. So one of the ordered pairs would be 1, 0. That's on my circle. If we go straight up to 90 degrees, my ordered pair would be 0, positive 1. If we go to the left, the 180 degrees, my ordered pair would be negative 1, 0. And if we go straight down to 270, my ordered pair would be 0, negative 1. So one of those options, one of these 4 ordered pairs, is going to be your what you're going to use to find your sine, your cosine, and your tangent. So sine, what you need to know, sine goes with y, cosine goes with x, and tangent is sine divided by cosine. That is the ratio of tangent. So I'm going to continue to say sine over cosine, but you can remember that it's y divided by x. Alright, so if we look at example 4a, it's asking us to evaluate the 6 trig functions of theta when theta is 180 degrees. So the first thing you need to do is you need to sketch your angle. We're going to do a lot more of this in the next lesson, but if we sketch our angle here, terminal, our initial side is positive x-axis, opening up all the way over here to 180 degrees. So since our terminal side is on one of our axes, that's immediately telling us that it's a quadrantal angle. Quadrantal angles are always going to be associated with those 4 ordered pairs. So what I need to figure out is what this ordered pair is over here to the left. Well, that's going to be negative 1, 0, because I went left 1, that's where the negative's coming from, and I went up and down 0. So on your paper, you have blanks filled out for sine, for cosine, for tangent. We're going to start with those. So my sine goes with y. And if you look at the y coordinate of your ordered pair, that's going to be 0. And then we know from the previous page that cosine goes with x. And if you look at your x value for my ordered pair, my x value is negative 1. And then my tangent is sine divided by cosine, or y divided by x. So thinking about sine divided by cosine, well, sine is 0 and cosine is negative 1. Well, what is 0 divided by negative 1? Your calculator will tell you is 0. Hopefully you did that in your head though. Now we're going to want to figure out what cosecant, secant, and cotangent are. So you always want to have your sine, cosine, and tangent first. Cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Remember that every pair is going to have a co in it. So sine goes with cosecant. And what you're doing is you're taking the reciprocal. So you can think about sine as being 0 over 1, which means cosecant is going to be 1 over 0. And when you have division by 0, we say that that's undefined. I cannot fit that word in here. Undefined. There you go. Put a D on the end. My secant, you can also think of negative 1 over 1, and you're going to end up with negative 1. It's just the reciprocal. And then the reciprocal of 0, if you put that over 1 again, you're going to get to undefined. So what you can really take from this is 0 and undefined are reciprocals of each other, and negative 1 is its own reciprocal, just like positive 1 would also be its own reciprocal. All right, last example. So we've got theta equals pi over 2 now. So what you're going to want to first do is sketch that angle. And pi over 2 is going to actually be up here at the 90 degrees because that's what pi over 2 is. So we want to start getting comfortable with those radian measures. So this is going to be the ordered pair 0, 1. We can go a little faster here. Hopefully you've caught on. So now my sine of my angle, sine goes with y, which is going to be 1. Cosine of theta, cosine is x, which is 0, and then tangent. So my tangent is going to be sine over cosine, or 1 divided by 0. Anything divided by 0 is error, so we're going to say that that's undefined. You can abbreviate as UND if you would prefer. So then my cosecant, which matches up with sine, is going to be 1 also, because we're flipping that, we're taking the reciprocal. My secant is going to be the reciprocal of 0, which is undefined, and my cotangent is going to be 0 because that's the reciprocal of undefined. That's all I got for you in section 2. Make sure you do the give it a try on Buzz.